Hey, Spencer here from KTM Twins to talk to you today about the KTM Power Parts aftermarket air filter for your KTM 790 Adventure and 790 Adventure R. This is a very important product for those of you riding off-road because it can save your engine a whole lot of grief. So let's check it out. First step to doing this job is obviously removing the seat from your bike. If you don't know how to do that, then I don't think I can help you. The only real tool you're gonna need for this job is a T30 Torx, and that's for the two screws that hold down the air filter cover. So let's start by taking those off. Right, so there's just two screws holding down the air filter cover. As we all know, this was one of the huge things that KTM did to make sure that this bike was more off-road friendly, was making the air filter easily accessible. Whereas with the 1090s, 1190s, 1290s, you had to actually remove the fuel tank to get to the air filter. So this was something that was like a huge leap forward for KTM. Anyways, two screws we took out here. We'll save those in our pocket. And this cover here just pops out. That it's got a few tabs in the front here that line up here. And that's all you got to do is pull out and up. And this thing can live off to the side here as we pull out the filter. Removing the filter itself is somewhat similar to the stock airbox on 1090, 1190, 1290. So if anybody's familiar with that, then they'll be familiar with this. There's the filter housing and then a wedge piece, and it holds it in place up against the airbox itself. So to remove, just have to pull the wedge piece. That's what I was talking about. It's tapered, so when you push it down, it pushes the filter up against the housing, the airbox itself. So once you've pulled that wedge piece out, then the filter just comes right out. All right, let's talk differences between the stock paper element and the Power Parts off-road element we're gonna be swapping it out for. The stock filter is your standard paper filter. It's going to be great for road use, light off-road use. This is something you're going to want to check often if you ride in dusty conditions, which a lot of us do. So we're going to swap this element out with the foam core reinforced Power Parts filter, right? It's made by Uni. And this is an oiled filter. This is going to pick up a lot of the finer particles that your paper element might miss out on. Installation of this guy is very simple. Reverse order of exactly how we took the stock element out. The only tip I would give here is I like to put a light layer of grease, just regular red and tacky grease, around the sealing surface here. This way I just ensure that it's got a seal on the airbox itself, and that might pick up any super fine particles that try to make their way around the element. Installation of the new filter is going to be super simple. Just take the new element itself, put it inside our filter housing case. See the wedge tapers down like that, so you want the fat part of the wedge at the bottom and the skinny part at the top, because our handy dandy wedge piece here, the opposite piece, that's the way it's going to slide down and push it up against the housing. So anyways, you just slide this down into here. So the last step is lining up the tongue and groove on your two air filter pieces and just sliding this guy, sliding it until it's level with the other piece. And when these two are flush, you know that the wedge is fully in place and it's pushing your filter up against the airbox. Reinstalling the cover for the air filter housing here is just as simple as you would imagine. There's a couple grooves in the front here, like I said at the beginning. And what you want to do is line those grooves up so that they slide in. See, this piece slides in, and then just set it down, and it's going to line up with your two holes. Take your T30. Give them a good reef, and that's it. You're good to go. I almost forgot the last step.